But this new kid came in, and he's bigger than everybody else, and he just pushed him around. He comes and turns the TV to whatever he wanted to watch. So Little Rich gets up and grabs a black and white TV, an old black and white TV, and fucking crushes his head in, and like straight up a fucking comedy.
He replaces his head with a television, Kyle. He turns him into Prince Robot from Saga.
Yes.
Like he's literally
it's like near comedic style.
Yes.
This is a TV in place of your head.
Hello and welcome back to the 133rd episode of Good Bad or Bad Show. We watch terrible movies and tell you if you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shilligo, joined once again, as always, by the other host of this esteemed program, Mr. Kyle Hinton. Kyle,
What's up?
We're doing a mail episode.
Yes.
Let's see. This is over here somewhere. Oh boy.
You sent it. We watched it. We regret every second of it.
I disagree, and we'll get into it. Well, I don't know where the fuck it is, but the movie is it's probably back there. Is 2010's Gun.
No.
Okay. Let me do real quick.
We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it, and we're gonna do
a
time travel thing where we just go boop, and then we just have it.
Yep, there it is, and it is a Blu-ray.
Yay!
Oops.
Whoa, Brian, how did we time travel like that just now?
Gun.
We found it. Look at Val Kilmer's hair.
He looks so good, and he looks so good in the movie. I can't wait to talk about Val Kilmer in this film.
So what you into now? Crime.
So this movie was sent to us by a fan. I don't recall who sent it. Niagara Falls Review. This is from Ontario. We got a Canadian gift here. Hey, homies. Hope you are keeping safe during these times. Sent some movies that might be fun to cover. One will introduce you to the 50 Cent cinematic universe. But we appreciate it. It's also available to stream on Amazon Prime. I rented it because I didn't feel like digging up this Blu-ray. So I paid $4, Kyle. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
But
you didn't feel like going into the back room and looking for a disc that we have.
Okay, here's the other thing. My computer doesn't have a disk drive. I have to plug in an external disk drive, and I didn't know where it was.
Isn't that what your PlayStation's for?
Yes, but I didn't feel like watching it on the TV because I like to take notes on one screen and watch it on the other, so I watch it on my computer. It doesn't. I'm sorry, Kyle. I will reimburse Good Bad or Bad the $4 that I spent renting the 2010 cinematic masterpiece Gun.
You need to back your ass up out of here before you get fucked up.
Hey, yo. Come over here.
So, for moment one of this movie is written, and we'll talk about it. We will talk about it later. This movie is written
by one Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
So according on the box here, so yeah, and in the credits says it was written by 50 Cent. Again, we'll discuss that a little bit later. But I love for moment one, we are in it with the title. We open the opening credits of this movie.
It's guns.
And I was like,
it's Gun.
Killing it. Well done, movie. You did it. And I love that, like, they're assembling a bunch of different guns, and then the gun turns. The last one is like an AK, and they like turn and kind of shoot the camera, but not really.
Yeah,
it's so stupid. So then we cut after the opening little like gun montage, which is irrelevant.
Yes, we're in a nightclub.
A nightclub. Mm-hmm. And this is important because this sets up the whole everything that goes on later in the film. And there's a guy in there. We keep cutting around to like pretty naked girls, not naked, but like, you know, go-go girls dancing in a club. And then there's these other guys talking. And then a kerfuffle starts, and these guys are arguing. And meanwhile,
this one dude has how do you
they're like M80s. Or is that what you're talking about?
But how do you describe the kind of lighter that you use for cigars?
I have no idea.
But it's
like one of those blowtorch ones?
Yeah, one of the blowtorch ones. So he has one of those. He's lighting up a stogie, right?
Yeah.
And he starts pulling out M80s.
Yeah, he pulls out like M80s.
Which I think, how long have M80s been like not
I don't know.
Bible. At least not in Missouri, you can't really find them.
Well, considering that that guy works for an arms dealer,
Yeah.
I don't think he has trouble getting M80s.
Probably.
But yeah, I don't think he's going to his local Black Cat fireworks stand to get his
Whoa, Phantom, okay?
Phantom fireworks.
Higher
stand.
class.
Black Cat is the industry. I have no idea. I don't fucking care. But he throws these M80s and they start going off, and that makes everybody think there's like somebody shooting in the club.
Yes, and everybody starts scattering.
And everybody runs out of the club, and as soon as they run out of the club, 50 Cent is waiting.
Just there to unload.
And him and his buddies, all wearing masks, just rain hell down on this crowd of people leaving this, mainly targeting one guy, but they hit
I think they ended up killing like 6 or 7
people, I think they say eventually, but injure like 20 or something like that.
Where over 17 patrons were hit with gunfire. 7 of them were fatally wounded. Police spokesman refused to comment.
And we got to talk about...
Okay, so 50 Cent is, first off, he's left-handed, which, I'm left-handed, but...
it's rare.
Whatever.
I'm a little rare.
He has horrible accuracy, and we know this because of that one time he tried doing a first pitch at a baseball game.
Oh,
did you see that?
Great throw. He's got a cannon, let me tell you.
And his first pitch was not great. Just a bit outside. What can you say?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing in this movie is not called baseball. Instead, it's called gun because he would never hit anybody.
But he's shooting. He's like throwing the bullet at them.
Yeah,
it's like
he literally.
It's like when we saw it in Treasure Raiders.
Yeah,
where they're up on top of the building and just throwing
bullets with your gun. He does that, and then he drops the gun, and they bail. They kill the guy that they're trying to. Drops the gun and bails. So then he runs, and then we cut to some detectives showing up on the crime scene.
He also has a Smith & Wesson 500 like snub nose, which is just a fucking handgun.
Well, is that this gun? Because there's this one single revolver. Yeah, there's this one single, and that's this one because there's this one.
I think
it's weird because he has it later again.
I know,
but he drops it. But they do make a point of saying that this gun is very particular.
They track
He's sending a
gun.
message with it or whatever.
Whatever.
Well, why would the shooter leave the weapon behind?
To make a statement.
To who?
To everyone.
But because I think
those rounds are like this fucking
huge, yeah. And but he drops the gun to send a message to leave him so they know it's him or whatever. But then, so we get the opening. The detectives show up on the crime scene, and they're there to do. And I was hoping, I didn't know what Val Kilmer played in this movie. Mm-hmm. I was really hoping when we get this opening shot, and we see the detective getting out of the car, that Val Kilmer was going to be that detective and was going to be like a Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints style detective. That's what I was hoping
I would
for.
love nothing more than Val Kilmer screaming, "There was a firefight!"
Desperately hoping that was what we were gonna get. It's not what we get, but what we get is still pretty good with Val Kilmer. I would watch Val Kilmer in fucking literally
Willem
anything.
Dafoe, if you would like to come on the show and be interviewed about your time in Boondock Saints, look, I can dream, okay?
Oh, fucking A. And then but in fact, it's James Remar. Who is a guy you recognize from stuff, but never anything. Like he's never a main. He's just like a little bit player.
He's that guy.
Yeah, that guy who shows up in cop procedurals. And it's like all he does. And then, so we get this whole scene where he walks around the crime scene, picks up the gun and stuff, and they do some talking. And then he leaves and is driving. And then the credits start again.
Yeah.
Like, we get more credits then. Why do we get opening credits, then this scene, then more credits?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. To me, it feels like
he's
that
also supposed to be like is he head detective or is he just, he's like a detective?
He's like one of them.
He's like, he goes, every time he goes this, buddy, like he wants to like, they're promoting it like he wants to catch the bad guy and stuff, but he gets stuff. He's like, go ahead and bag some evidence and get statements from every witness. I'm gonna go like get coffee or something.
All right, start getting statements from the witnesses. I want victims all ID'd. One of them has to be the shooter's target. I'm gonna get a trace on this thing started.
Yeah, yeah. So we find out that 50 is an arms dealer. That's like his whole thing. Oh, meanwhile, right after this scene, Val Kilmer gets released from prison.
And that glorious hair.
He comes walking out of prison. Classic, like I'm walking through the gates, getting his little manila envelope full of his possessions or whatever.
Wallet, watch, ring.
There's a guy, there's like a sniper on the roof with a baklava, and yet I always intentionally say baklava, and everybody in the comments always gets mad about it. And I still do it. And
ski mask.
Balaclava, I'm aware. But so they're letting him out. Classic getting out of jail scene. And then we cut and we're watching 50 do like an arms deal or like talking about guns. Like they're going through a bunch of guns. And I mainly want to talk about this scene because one time at the end of it, they're going through all the different guns they sell. And he's got like a P90 or something. And he's telling you like it's armor piercing, whatever.
First off, no.
I have no idea.
Maybe,
Kyle.
maybe they make
I'm
it.
not even
maybe
gonna
they make it.
The comments are gonna be so mad this whole episode. All comments are gonna be like, fucking idiots.
They probably do make armor piercing rounds for P90s. I do know like the reason why it's like highly coveted is because of its compact design.
And he does say that, and he does say like the way because of how it's built, like it's easier to like the recoil controls easier.
Extremely low recoil, ball virtually no muzzle climb, resulting in every shot on target.
He talks, and I have no idea. I don't know how accurate it is.
I don't know if you've ever seen like a P90. The way it like loads into the chamber, it's freaking crazy.
I've seen a little bit, but
sideways, and then it rotates into the chamber.
It's so weird.
It's so cool.
Seems like it would jam really easy, but maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? Oh God! Every time I speculate on a thing about a gun, that's another angry comment. In the
How dare you?
Said that in cars, they hate. Oh, and we don't know what a car is. People are so mad about it.
What was the Honda thing that we'd always make?
Oh, I would always just call everything a Pinto, which is not a Honda. I'm fairly certain.
Okay. Sure.
It's a Ford, I think. I'm probably wrong about that. But yeah, I would just call every car a Pinto. But at the end of the scene, he's shooting this gun to like show it off to the guy that's there, and he's shooting like a dummy that has a bulletproof vest.
But it's just there's no padding on the other side. It's just cardboard.
Well, no. Yes, because that's what I wanted to talk about. That cardboard is 100% from the squib load. Like I guarantee that the squib load was in that cardboard, and when the squib load went off the first time, you can see then the cardboard.
Yeah, and then they just kept igniting them. And more and more cardboard.
Yeah, 100%. I guarantee that cardboard was from how they packed the squib load in there. I guarantee it. It's fucking hilarious.
It's the shit right here.
And then I did like this. They talked through that gun. This movie isn't the worst thing we've ever. I actually think
there's parts of it that work, but there's parts of it that really
there definitely are parts that don't, and it's mainly like just like caring about any of the characters is like the biggest problem with it.
Take you to the mall and shit, fix you up and shit. How you be dressing like that, man?
What's wrong with my clothes?
Everything.
But like this little thing where they're talking through the where the gun, the chain of commit, like the chain of possession, the gun went through, and we're kind of flashing through. And it's kind of interesting.
It seems like it's interesting, and it gives an idea of how it goes from the personal to the grand scale.
Yeah. And I thought that was at least...
They don't pay off.
No, they don't do anything with it. Well, later we see some of those guys get arrested or something, like during a montage. But it was at least an idea or something like that.
It reminded me of like Lord of War, where you would go from like the ammunition manufacturer all the way to.
Oh, you're right. It was that was probably before this too, wasn't it? That was like probably mid 2000s that Lord of War came out. They probably got that idea from that. Bastards. And then I love. He's like, I left the gun there to send a message, and he's like, to who? Everyone. Yes.
I control the city.
To make a statement.
To who?
To everyone.
I control Detroit.
Yeah. So then they're at their bar that they always hang out at, and Val Kilmer shows up, and he goes in. He's like, I'm looking for, and I can't remember. Rich is his name. Rich, I believe. 50's name is Rich.
He's looking for Clinton.
Yeah, I'm looking for a guy named Clinton.
You know what Clinton looks like?
He says he's looking for Clinton, but ultimately
50's character's name is Rich.
Yes. And he ultimately, this guy's like, I don't know. Do I? He's like, am I? He says, do I? He punches a guy in the face. It's great. I don't know.
Yeah, the one dude, because like there's
like two main
are
henchmen,
Clinton and Dante.
Yeah,
and Dante's going up starting shit, and then gets throat punched by Val Kilmer.
By Val Kilmer.
Get back your ass up out of here before you get fucked up.
Ayo.
And then Val Kilmer walks over the table in glorious slow-mo with his hair billowing in the wind. It's fantastic. And he sits down, and I love this scene. I actually think, this is the first scene where I noticed it. I actually think 50's pretty good in this. I think he does a pretty good job playing this character. I don't know if how much of a stretch it is for him. Like maybe it's not a stretch acting wise for him.
Right? We'd be like, hey, back in the '90s, I used to do a lot of gun running.
Well,
you want to write a story about that?
And we'll talk about who wrote this story, but he does. I think he does a pretty good job in this movie.
Next one ain't coming out my hand.
And Val Kilmer's always great. I mean, he's not great, but I don't know. I like Val Kilmer and I'll watch him.
He has a certain atmosphere about him.
Yeah, he plays a very interesting version of this character that I wasn't really expecting. He's like this quiet, kind of awkward dude who's just like caught up in this situation.
So what's up? Talk to me. How you been?
You know the drill. Got out. And back in. Out.
I get it.
And we find out that they're old friends. They did a job together back in the day. And also, I have to talk about here, and this has to be the case, right? 50 Cent's wearing contacts throughout this whole movie, or does he just have the most gorgeous eyes that have ever?
I think it's contacts.
Yeah, because otherwise he has just the most strikingly like brown eyes. They're like electric brown.
It's crazy.
They look wild, and I was like, "Are those the color of 50 Cent's eyes? That's incredible." But I'm pretty sure he's wearing contacts. I think in a couple scenes you can see him, but it's hard to tell. But he wears them the entire film.
Very much at the end where they're like having that standoff and the lights are just right.
Yeah, and I think they did it on purpose just to give him sort of a striking feature to kind of make him stand out. But it works. It looks interesting. But
that's what his fucking beard line's. Yeah, 50 Cent's beard line is majestic,
meticulously crafted. Yeah, and we get a flashback to the job they did together, and he explains that Val Kilmer, they were on a deal, and Val Kilmer, I love him in his hoodie with his hood pulled up. It looks like an old man in a hoodie at this gun deal. But shit went bad. The cop showed up and they ran, and Val Kilmer helped him out of the situation. He's like, "Come on, get in the car with me," and they drive away. So that's how they became friends in that moment. But then Val Kilmer's like, "Hey, I need a gun for a personal thing. I got a thing I got to take care of," and he gives him a gun, and that's the end of this scene.
Me personally, I'm more a Revolver guy, but this should do.
Toss in the room when you're done. No, this one's on me.
And I thought overall this scene actually works pretty well acted. And pretty well shot. I love though, as Val Kilmer's walking out of the bar.
Oh, somebody's there taking photos.
Oh, is there?
I think this is where, because like they're taking photos
outside. Yeah. There's a detective or somebody. We get like taking photos of him. But I was talking about in the bar as he's walking out. There's very clearly a film light like sitting above the bar shooting at him, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know that
previously.
Yeah, that normal bar light spotlight that every bar has. It's just like that Fresnel spotlight that every bar
lounge
has.
Lighting except for this one area of
like a
well light that we need.
Very intense spotlight. It's you can see it up in the top right corner above the bar. I was like, well done. But yeah, somebody's watching him. He's like taking pictures of him. And then finally we get our sexy lady. I was like, gotta have a sexy lady at some point. And this is very clearly a role that was intended for Charlize Theron. And they got poor man Charlize Theron. Like, she looks Katie thought I was watching the movie. Katie's like, is that Charlize Theron? And I was like, nope. It is
something Anne, right?
Anna Lynn McCord,
yes, is
her name, and she's playing the girlfriend / business contact of 50 Cent, and I don't know exactly what her deal is. At times, it feels like she's a cop, like a dirty cop or something.
I thought that was what it was initially.
Because at one point they're on the bridge, and when she's wearing the big black like fur coat, she says something about like the police station. We can't have you
connect this back to us.
Just think twice where you're setting up shop. That's all we ask. None of this can link back to us.
Yeah, and like she's talking about how she's hearing they're talking about him at the station, and I'm like, so is she like a dirty cop or something? But we never see her as a. I didn't understand.
And it took like all of 5 seconds for this movie to be like, for 50 Cent to go to the director and be like, I need these people to know that I fuck well.
I fuck and I'm a badass. I love the introduction scene. She's sitting at the bar and there's a guy like hitting on her. And 50, he might be a criminal who murders people, but he don't take it when you're you're a jerk to a lady. Like this guy like won't leave her alone at the bar, and he walks up to the dude and
drops a bullet
in his drink, and he has a pretty good line here. He
Next
says,
one won't come out of my hand.
Next one ain't coming out my hand.
That's a pretty good fucking line. That's a pretty fucking good line. And I love the idea, though, that 50 Cent carries around a bullet in his pocket specifically to, like, defend the honor of random women at bars as, like, a pickup line. It's fantastic. Because otherwise, why would he have that bullet? Like, he does carry a revolver, so maybe he just carries extra bullets in his pocket for his revolver, because we'll get into it, but he's a revolver guy, Kyle. He doesn't like...
There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
There is, yeah.
Which is a legitimate reason.
Yeah, like it's a legitimate thing that actually is kind of a clever little character moment, but he talks about how he only likes... He always uses a revolver.
Unless he's using a long rifle. In which case, it's a semi-automatic that has bullets like that freaking huge.
Yeah, he uses a literal cannon.
It's like a 50 BMG anti-material rifle.
Yes, it's for destroying vehicles from very far away. It's hilarious. But then, boy, his line to her at the end, I think he says, like before they go fuck, I think he says,
"Think you can handle this load?
Do you think you can handle this load?" Is that what he says to her? Is that like a joke in reference to like the bullet and like his dick? You know, like this load, like the bullet is a large caliber bullet, but also his dick is a large caliber dick. I don't know, but I love that they start fucking, and this song is the most literal sex song. It's literally describing the line as this is exactly happening in the song. The song, or as it's happening in the scene, the song says, "Then I undress you as I assess you." Literally in the exact moment, 50 is taking her clothes off and looking her up and down. It's fantastic.
Now I undress you as I assess you, making it all seem okay.
And then we get some very vigorous fucking. No nudity from her, but we do get to see 50's ass.
Yep.
So there we go.
Yep.
You're all very welcome. And then I don't remember the context of this, but we cut to the bar again, and the detectives are out taking pictures. And I even said in this moment, like, these are the worst detectives. They're like sitting clearly right across the street.
They are so obvious that 50 Cent just walks up and is like, "Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up?" He just like scares them. Like, it's so stupid. I was like, how does he not see them? Oh, he did. Cool.
Oh, and then there's FTA or
ATF
agents as well. I was really hoping they would start playing Cher at some point. Maybe I should do that there in the warehouse scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
In case anybody's wondering, it's a callback to Waco.
This is what we did in Waco. Play really bad music really loud until it drives them nuts and makes them want to come out.
Yes. And then we cut from that, like, he kind of talks to the cops and is like, "Oh," they're like, "We know you're up to no good." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll fucking prove it, but whatever." It's something like that. I don't know. And they that scene ends. It doesn't matter.
Trying to find some guns, some heavy duty firearms. Why? I personally hate guns.
Yeah.
He's trying to play it off.
Yeah, he's being very coy.
Oh, you got the wrong address.
How's that?
Me personally, I hate guns. You know?
But then we get to this. They're going on a job or something like that. I think this is the Danny Trejo scene. And on the way, I love this. They're driving there, and Val Kilmer's in the passenger seat, and 50 Cent goes, "Look under your seat." And he does, and he reaches under. Val Kilmer pulls out a gun and goes, "Cool." It's just like, cool.
Yeah. Look on your seat. Cool.
Oh my God! There's another part. I think it was just before this where Val Kilmer's like, "I need some work."
Yeah.
This was it.
Yeah.
He says, I mean, what's going on? What are you into right now, man?" "I'm into crime."
So what you into now?
Crime.
Thank you, Val Kilmer, for the greatest line delivery in this movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'm into leans in with his bugged mic. I'm into
crimes and crime-related activities.
I'm into crime and crime accessories.
Crime and crime accessories. Oh God! So they show up for this gun deal or whatever, and this is the one scene Danny Trejo's in. Shows up as the head of this other cartel or whatever.
He gets out of his limousine with some fantastic boots.
Yes, and they're getting ready to do their deal, but I don't remember exactly what happens. They can't agree on the price point or something.
We run out at night, man. We got to deal with what?
Cálmate. Déjame hablar con mi camarada.
Man, what the fuck do you want to talk about, man?
Hey, I said cálmate.
And he starts leaving.
Yeah.
And as he's leaving, he drops a little pistol out of his sleeve.
Val Kilmer calls it, and they
he's
just
like,
start unloading.
And everybody shoots everybody. Murders just everybody. Danny Trejo gets absolutely murdered.
I do like how one of the henchmen for Danny Trejo is like the wardrobe was. We need this guy to be like he's part of a Mexican cartel or Mexican gang or whatever.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Hairnet.
Obviously. It is very what's that fucking movie?
Stand and Deliver, because like
no.
I know like there's no gangs in it, but Lou Diamond Phillips has a hairnet.
Yeah, no. The fucking I don't think he has a hairnet, but it reminded me of the way they the movie with the aerobics.
Oh, High Kicks.
High Kicks, how the gang is like a multicultural gang of like, and they're all like the most stereotypical version of each like gang member of that different
But, like
culture.
the hairnet thing feels like so 90s, and you see it like later on, you're just like, did this guy just like never go forward in time?
Yeah.
Is he stuck in the past?
It's pretty great. But they all get murdered, and then we move on from that scene. And he does explain in this moment about his sweet hand cannon that he has, and how it's it's a 9mm that guys can keep coming at you or keep shooting. But if you hit them with the whatever 50 cal or whatever the fuck this thing is,
it's gonna put him on the floor and also break your wrist.
Some motherfucker take 4 or 5 of them 9mm bullets. Don't go down. One of these, I knock a motherfucker off his feet.
Yeah. But he's like, see, it worked here. I just murdered Danny Trejo with it. It worked great.
In the arms of the angel.
And I also love that he I was like, oh, 100%. So they keep making a big point of this gun, this very specific gun. And I was like, oh, that's the gun from the title, right? And I was like, 100% the way this movie ends is 50 Cent gets murdered by that gun.
Oh,
like only. That was what I was fully expecting. And then because you have like the built-in one-liner, live by the gun, die by the gun. Like it's perfect. I was fully expecting that, and it doesn't happen, unfortunately, because they wanted to leave it open to a sequel, I guess, or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's this scene is actually really good, I thought. So they're divvying up the cut afterwards.
Yes.
And 50 gives Dante's portion of the cut to Val Kilmer.
And saying, because you were able to spot that, you saved our ass.
Yeah, you saved our ass, Dante, you suck. And Dante's like, hey, man.
Hey, whoa.
Man, give me my fucking money. You think I'm a... Shut the fuck up. Go ahead, say something.
And he pulls a gun, and it's really intense.
Yeah.
The scene I thought was good.
I would be honored to have you have my part.
It'd be my pleasure for you to have my take.
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, I actually thought this scene worked really well. 50 commits to it and does a really good job in it, and I was actually like, I found it very tense. I found it like an actually really effective little scene.
It's really good on multiple. And let's just break down why this. So it shows 50 being intimidating. It shows him being the leader, and it shows the Dante character being like he's all bark and no bite.
Right, exactly.
You push any kind of thing on him, he's gonna break.
And we see Val Kilmer. Oh, no, go ahead.
I would think that would be better suited for later on, where the detectives come to him and he cracks, or because like that's both a physical and story a representation of just like how he can be used.
Yeah,
but we don't get that.
No, but I also thought, because it's also a good moment for Val Kilmer's character, who doesn't get in. He just kind of lets it all happen and just kind of watches. He's not super invested in any of this, but he's just there because we'll find out why he's there a little bit later. But yeah, I thought that was actually a pretty good little scene.
In case people are wondering, this is called showing and not telling.
Yeah. We'll get. Yeah. There's also this great flashback where They talk about when they were little kids.
Yes. Oh my! This is amazing. This is amazing. Okay, so they're at a youth home, right?
Yeah, and I think it was Dante and Rich and 50 Cent's character.
Yeah, they're talking. They're at the bar or whatever, talking in their little booth, and they're saying that whenever they were growing up in a youth home because they were like, they didn't have parents.
Whatever. Yeah, they ended up in the system,
and they all had a day where they were like, we watched TV.
Yeah,
and was it Rich would watch the Golden Girls
or something like that? Yeah,
somebody watched the Golden Girls, which is pretty funny.
Now, Rich, he gets Friday night. His show happens to be the Golden Girls.
Tell us about it.
But this new kid came in, and he's bigger than everybody else, and he just pushed them around. He comes and turns the TV to whatever he wanted to watch. So Little Rich gets up and grabs a black and white TV, an old black and white TV, and fucking crushes his head in, and like straight up a fucking comedy.
He replaces his head with a television, Kyle. He turns him into Prince Robot from Saga.
Yes.
Like he's literally
it's like near comedic style.
Yes.
This is a TV in place of your head.
Yes, it's literally Prince Robot
hilarious.
from Saga. So he looked like a member of the Robot Kingdom. That shit was cracking me up. I was like, oh my god, yeah, just replaces his head with a television. It's fucking wild.
Like a motherfucking hat. It's right over his head like a fucking hat.
Holy shit, I was not prepared for that moment. Oh, Jesus. And then we cut to a scene where they're interrogating one of the members, I think, of Danny Trejo's gang, potentially.
Yeah, oh my god. This torture scene is horrifying.
Brutal, man. That's what I said. There's actually some effective scenes. They have him hanging by his feet.
Yes. So he's like splits,
doing the splits kind of.
And all 50 Cent is doing is taking a baseball bat,
aluminum baseball bat, just wailing on his nuts.
Over.
And I love that he then he wails on this guy's nuts with a baseball bat like 20 times, and then the guy is able to just talk to him, and I'm like, bull fucking shit.
No.
Like he would just be a moaning, sobbing mess.
And possibly like 3 or 4 octets higher.
Yeah, and passed out. Like he'd probably pass out. Like it's fucking no way. Because he's also hitting him in the chest occasionally with the aluminum baseball bat. Like that dude would be fucking dead. Like he'd be unconscious.
Val Kilmer gives him a mercy killing.
Yes, and this is the first. But he gives him a mercy killing. But also, it's Val Kilmer, I think, covering his ass. I think the guy was about to start talking. Yeah, it was like had some information knowing. Spoiler: Val Kilmer is essentially working for the not the FBI, whatever, the detective, the cop, the local police or whatever. And he was about to start talking, so Val Kilmer puts a bullet in his head to keep his cover safe. Oh boy.
Spoilers: Val Kilmer is working undercover for the cop.
We keep names, people, places, times of deliveries.
Yes, yeah, like I said, that is what we initially find out here momentarily, which is we cut to, it's actually like right now, essentially, we cut to a flashback of Val Kilmer before he got released from jail. And the detective, James Remar's character, walks in, and they're sitting in like an interrogation room or whatever, and he's like, I got some bad news, buddy.
Yes.
There was a shooting last week, and she was hit.
There was a shooting at a club that your wife worked at.
My wife doesn't work at a club.
Yes, she does, or whatever.
Yeah, so he didn't know that she was working at this place.
Yeah, she was like
this was during the shootout
at the
beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Where, and she was hit.
One of the cocktail waitresses, they say.
Out.
Yeah, and she got hit, and he shows him pictures. James Remar slides pictures of his dead wife across the table.
Val Kilmer has an incredible reaction where he just picks up his chair and throws it once, and he's like, we're good, right? That's all the coverage you needed for the shot?
We got that? Yep. Fantastic. So 50 murdered Val Kilmer's wife.
By the way, he knew this going into it. It's so sad looking back at it now when he kept calling his wife's phone just to hear her voice.
Yeah. No, that's another good little moment.
I know.
Because we get a moment before this is all revealed where he calls a voicemail and we hear...
Over and over. And you're
like
oh,
twice
she just doesn't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And then it gets really sad.
Yep. Nope. Dark. She got murdered by 50 Cent and his squad.
Hey, this is Lisa. And Harry. We can't get to the phone right now, but if you leave a message, we'll get back to you.
Oh man, it's fantastic. So then, right after this scene, we then cut back. So now we know. Basically, the detective was like, "Look, if you want revenge, help us out. We'll let you out. Go get in with him and give us information, and so we can arrest him." Basically,
because he has a daughter.
Val Kilmer, has a daughter.
So he actually has motivation.
Yeah, he wants to help
other than just revenge.
Yes, and go be with his daughter again. And so then we cut back to current time, and 50's Val Kilmer meets 50 Cent in like these sewers or something. I don't even know what it's like, these tunnels or whatever. And he's like, "Hey, why don't we go for a walk?" And Val Kilmer's like, "What the fuck's going on? And we just found out that he's a double agent.
Yeah.
So we know, and we're like, shit, does 50 Cent know? And they're walking down this hallway, and 50 Cent's behind him. And I love there's this moment where we see Val Kilmer pull a gun out of his pocket so obviously. 50 Cent would have to be an idiot not to notice. Yes, he's like, let me just pull this gun out of my front pocket and hold it. And then at one point he turns around and they're talking face to face. He's still holding the gun. It's so stupid. But he also has the least convincing lie I've ever heard. Val Kilmer, 50 Cent asks him,
"Say information leaking from the inside. You know anything about that?"
No, man. I don't know nothing.
"No, man. I don't know anything." It's so obvious.
Right up there with Neil Breen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no.
No, that is not true.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, you're such a terrible liar.
But this is 50 Cent's shooting range.
Yes, yeah. They round a corner, and he's like, "Why are we here?" And he's like, "Oh, I just like to blow off some steam. It's my sweet shooting range where I have like mannequins tied up on ropes and shit."
It's like mannequins tied up on nooses.
And like old TVs and stuff. Oh, it's fantastic. But this is where he explains his tragic backstory, Kyle.
Why he chooses a revolver.
Why he always uses a revolver is when he was a little kid. Something happened and his dad owed some people some money or something like that.
So my pops used to carry this old Browning, high-powered 9mm.
What my money at, man?
Which is the movie we're doing next week. Very similar backstory moment here.
So people come in and his dad has a gun to defend himself.
Yes, but he says it's a Browning and it's like a normal,
it's a semi-automatic,
like mag feed.
And he fires like one shot or something like that, and then it jams.
And it jams. No, he tries to shoot once. It doesn't even. It doesn't even. It just.
So it's just jams.
It jams.
This time that Browning jammed on his ass.
And then they execute his dad and his mom while he's hiding in the closet.
And this is a good, like, both. Like I said, man, there's parts of this that really work.
Yeah.
Because like a revolver will not jam like a semi-automatic will.
No.
And a revolver is more identifiable than say a semi-automatic, and it just makes him more identifiable.
Yeah, it gives him. It's a more unique character thing to have.
It's not like Val Kilmer. Here's your Glock.
Yeah, here's just a random Glock or something. It is a more unique character trait to use a specific.
That's why we were saying like certain parts of this movie work, and certain like TV head does not.
Like a motherfucking hat. It's right over his head, like a fucking hat.
No. I mean, it works at making me laugh, but not as like a good dramatic moment. But yeah, so that's why he always uses a revolver, because his parents were murdered because his dad was using a mag feed pistol. And then they have this adorable little conversation where 50 Cent's like, "Why are you dressed like that?" Val Kilmer goes, he says,
"What's wrong with the way I'm dressed?"
How you be dressing like that, man?
What's wrong with my clothes?
Everything.
"What's wrong with my clothes?" And 50 Cent goes, like, everything.
Everything. It's so good.
It's such a great moment.
Clearly that's like unscripted.
Yeah, it feels like 50 Cent was just like, that actually wouldn't surprise me if that was just how Val Kilmer showed up to set every day and they just like let him go in the movie dressed like that. And then we get a surprise John Larroquette, who I wasn't expecting.
Yes.
Like, why?
I love John Larroquette. He's so much fun. But in this, he is a horrible, horrible person.
Yes, he's an arms dealer. Like, he's the big guy arms dealer, like the tip top arms dealer. And what's her name? The girlfriend of 50 Cent works with him directly, I think. And I love that he's an arms dealer, but they also had to make him racist. He's like, on top of him being an arms dealer. It's classic stuff.
There is a rich in every hood in America. The is the expendable part of this game.
And then
he's also banging the chick too.
First, go take a shower. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah, he's also sleeping with, I don't know her characters. Did they ever say her name in the movie? I don't know if they do. Oh, wait. Gabriella. I don't remember them ever saying that, but that's what it says on the back here.
Gabriella here has told me you're one of a kind.
And then so now I don't remember exactly what happens, but basically Val Kilmer tries to give a tip to the police about somewhere he thinks that they have like guns stored or something, and they go raid that and they don't find anything. So then the detective calls Val Kilmer all mad and is like, dude, that tip you gave us was bullshit. And Val Kilmer's yelling at him on the phone. And I love right as he finishes, he hangs up and 50 Cent is just like a fucking, like a jump scare in a horror movie is like right behind him and is like, who are you talking to? He's like, oh shit.
Yep.
Nobody, nobody, you know, just some idiot or whatever.
Fuck you too. What's poppin', kid?
But then we get finally they all kinds of stuff. There's some tip-offs, blah blah. We get to the big final like gun deal. This is the big ordeal where all of the big gun exchange is going
where,
down.
I guess 50 Cent is getting his actual military grade hardware
and is getting sort of inducted into this larger like gun running organization that John Larroquette runs or whatever. And he's like, this is his like first deal with them. And they show up, and I love this so much. So there's like a whole SWAT teams and stuff that are positioned like around above. They have like, you know, they're like on some like second level above where this gun exchange is happening. We see them set up there. Yeah. And then they go out there, and Val Kilmer's there, and they go through all the guns, and he pulls out, John Larroquette pulls out this fucking, he doesn't, but one of his henchmen or whatever pulls out
a like you said 50 BMG anti-materia rifle. It looks like the freaking guns that they use at the end of RoboCop.
It's the largest gun I've ever seen, Kyle. Yeah. It is.
And like those guns that they use at the end of RoboCop.
Yeah.
To shoot Frank Weller's character.
Yeah. Is it Frank Weller? Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen RoboCop. But they say it's armor-piercing, highly explosive. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, armor-piercing, highly explosive, incendiary rounds.
Armor-piercing, highly explosive, incendiary rounds. You're gonna be my new best friend, Sam.
And so they hand this giant fuck-off gun to 50 Cent, and he's holding it. Well, hold on. Before he starts, he does shoot it at like a target or something like that once. But then I love, as soon as he hands over the gun, and then they like exchange a briefcase or something, that's when the cops are like, all right, let's go. You waited for them to pull out the giant fuck-off cannon before you decided to like go arrest them?
Also puts a fucking hole in the wall.
Yeah.
It's like, you realize people are going to notice and hear that, right?
Yeah. Well, and just why would you wait until one of the guys you're trying to arrest is holding a literal cannon before you would try to arrest
so many
them?
issues.
But all the cops come rolling in, and we get a giant shootout. And 50 Cent, he's also shooting this, by the way, got a giant scope on it. He's holding it under his arm.
Firing from the hip.
Firing it from the hip. Also, it's so large, I feel like it would like rip his arm out of his socket.
It is clear. Well, it's also clearly made out of just like cheap aluminum.
Yeah, well, it's a prop.
It's hilariously
Oh my
flimsy.
God. But he's just winging this thing around, like shooting at cop cars as they drive in. It's fucking wild. Not even aiming it at all. I fucking love that moment. And then, but eventually 50 Cent gets winged by somebody with a bullet and he falls over, and Val Kilmer, this old ass, hobbles out to go save him, grabs him and pulls him, and they start running away. They're like, we got to get out of here. And they're running through some back tunnels in this like warehouse or whatever they're in.
The other two guys just get wrecked.
Oh, Dante and Clinton, yeah, they come out with like guns and they're like spraying bullets everywhere and then just get lit up. Yeah.
Yep.
And then a bunch of people get shot. It's just chaos or whatever. And then so we have this Val Kilmer runs around a corner and 50 Cent chases him, and then right as he gets around the corner, Val Kilmer turns around and pulls his gun out
right in his face.
And he's like, "You're gonna kill me? What?
You killed my wife."
Yeah, and he explains, you know, remember that shooting you did at that nightclub?
The cocktail waitress in that massacre in the club, she was mine.
This is over some pussy.
She was my wife.
You killed my wife.
And then 50 Cent's like, dude, you're no different than me. You're a killer. I know the life you. It kind of works into a way to appeasing, and then it just does 50 Cent pull out his gun?
Well, and we get like he's like he talks to him and is like,
don't act like you ain't got your share of widows, man. Everybody you shot was somebody's son, somebody's brother.
you're a killer just like me, all that sort of stuff. Like 50's like, we're not different, we're the same. You could pretend you're different, but we're the, you know,
we're no different, you and I.
Yeah.
Hey, I get enough of we're not so different speech.
We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah, I don't need another we're not so different speech. I get those a lot.
Yeah, it's like it's like that same speech from every movie ever. And then but he starts putting his gun down because 50 like kind of talks him out of it. And right as he puts his gun down, 50 pulls his gun out and we get like a cut because they both shoot and we don't know what happened. And then we cut back and we find out Val Kilmer shot him somewhere in the stomach or something like that.
Well, he's clearly like it was in the lungs.
Somewhere in the
like
chest. Yeah, he's
coughing up
blood. And this is another moment where I thought 50 was pretty good. Like, as he's laying there dying and laughing, coughing up blood, I was like, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good moment. I was into it.
You think look different from me.
But then Val Kilmer's like about to maybe shoot him, can't decide if he wants to murder him or not. And the fucking detective just shoots Val Kilmer. Yep. I thought he murdered him. I was like, we're gonna get like I thought we were getting a fucking The Departed ending where just everybody was gonna die. Yeah. No, actually everybody lives.
Yeah, not enough X's for that.
Yeah. Everybody fucking lives. Everybody got shot and everybody looks like they're dying, but no surprise, everybody actually lives. So we cut to Val Kilmer. He's got a sling. He got shot, but he didn't die.
In the hospital, walking down a hallway or something.
And his daughter's there. Oh, so good. And then we cut, and then we get that juxtaposed. And there's a little bit of, at least clever, of another guy walking down the hallway, and it's 50 Cent in his jumpsuit. He's going.
But how do we know? He's so out of focus until the very
very last second.
Of course, it's him.
Yeah. Who else would it be? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Oh God. And so 50 is still alive. Actually, what I hoped was going to happen is when the detective shot Val Kilmer, I was hoping that detective was going to end up being crooked the whole time, which that would have been an interesting twist too. Like
crime kept escalating under his watch.
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe he's been crooked the whole time, and that would be a fun twist. But no, it's not that either. It's just because then he's mad at the end, and I don't know why. He got the guy because he goes in those like after he arrests 50 Cent. He's walking up into like the police station, and the reporters are like, "What? Bah bah bah."
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what they asked him.
He rips down the board from the wall, and then he kicks the wall.
Yeah.
And then the set that they built for this is really flimsy, and one of the panels started shaking really hard.
And I was like, what is he mad about, though? He got the guy. Like, I don't understand at all. But he's mad for some reason. 50's still alive. We have potential sequel bait.
Yeah,
of 50 coming back for Gun 2, even more gunner.
Even more gunner. Gun harder.
Kyle, I have to. So we talked about the fact that Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, is credited as writing this movie.
Oh, it definitely
I have. Not. So I clicked on IMDb. I went to the trivia section. I like to do that every time for smaller movies to see if there's any cool, like behind the scenes information. And I have a 100%. There's 2 trivia facts. 110% of these 2 trivia facts were written by the director of this film.
Oh my God, what are they?
First one, quote, Jackson, 50 Cent, took full writing credit, although never writing a single word of the script. The script was rewritten by multiple writers, including the director, Jesse Terrero, who did not take credit. That was so clearly written by the director.
It's not even passive.
No,
that's just straight aggressive.
Shit cracked me up so hard, and I have another one. Then the one after that. That wasn't enough. That didn't get all of his anger at 50 Cent out. Curtis Jackson routinely showed up not knowing any of his lines, nor knowing how to act. Other actors had to teach him blocking. That director was so mad. He was like, I'm gonna teach you 50 Cent. I'm gonna go on IMDb in the trivia and I'm gonna fucking lay you. Oh,
that's amazing.
He was so mad.
That is incredible.
I love it so much. Oh,
I would love to see this image of Val Kilmer trying to teach 50 Cent blocking.
Yeah. And the thing that's hilarious to me is I actually thought 50 Cent did pretty good in the movie. Like, he's not bad, I thought. But
I guess credit to the people training him.
Yeah. Because I thought he did pretty good. I mean, that doesn't mean he didn't show up not knowing his lines, because he could have still kind of made up lines and stuff and done it effectively. But yeah. Shit. The script was rewritten by multiple writers, including the director, Jesse Trejo, who did not even take credit. Fucking amazing.
Oh my god.
I don't know what I would give this movie, Kyle. Maybe good, bad. I would. It's not that. It's a little too competent.
Yes.
But it's also not. It looks like a cheap, like, made for TV movie. Like, it doesn't look.
And apparently the best part of this is the stuff behind the scenes.
Yes. Oh my god. I would love to watch like a behind the scenes documentary about the making of this film.
Does this have a featurette?
Oh, I didn't even look to see if there were featurettes or anything. Probably not.
Just trailer.
Yeah, probably not. But I guess, like, the thing is that it's not a good movie.
No.
But it's also not. I guess I'm gonna have to go bad. Only in
yeah.
the sense that it's not a good movie. It has a few wacky moments, but not enough. It's pretty technically competent overall. Like, there's not like out of focus shots or terrible ADR. Like, it's not a ton of that stuff. But it's got some wacky fun moments.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think we're gonna have to go bad.
I'm gonna have to go bad on that.
There's, like we said, wild parts. I'd like to interview the director.
The director was so mad. He was so mad. He went on IMDb and was like, fucking showing you 50 Cent, how you fucking jackass.
I had to make this fucking movie for you, and I didn't even take credit for it.
I didn't even take credit for it. Ah! Anyways, you can do us a giant favor, as always, by heading over to patreon.com/goodbadbad and supporting us there for GBorBB and supporting us there for $2, $5, $10, whatever bucks a month. All that's super helpful. We love that. We appreciate that. You can also head over to I'm not wearing it right now. I thought I was. I was gonna wear. I'm wearing it next episode. If you're in 2 weeks, you'll be watching me wear one of our shirts. There you go.
Get everything there.
Anything you want, all kinds of merch,
mugs.
that kind of stuff. Just search for Good Bad or Bad Bad on tpublic.com. But I have a podcast called This Film Is It, where we talk about movies that are based on books. When this is out, the most recent episode will have been Beauty and the Beast. We're doing that for Katie's birthday. It's one of her favorite.
What was the original Beauty and the Beast?
It's like a fairy tale from like France. Well, it's very complicated. I can't even begin to get into like the history of Beauty and the Beast, because it's a very old fairy tale that's has a bunch of different iterations and stuff. But
yeah,
the one that the movie's based on is like the French version from like the 1817. I don't even know. Anyways, we'll be talking about Beauty and the Beast. And then occasionally we stream on Twitch.
Yes,
you did recently.
I did.
You?
Yep.
Played some Minecraft or no? What were you playing? EverQuest.
Minecraft. Yeah.
Yeah, Minecraft. I thought you did. I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see what you're up to.
You didn't even chime in.
I just saw it after the fact. I saw the post. I was like, oh, Kyle was on Twitch. I was out of town or something. I don't remember.
I think that was the weekend Brian was celebrating his big birthday party.
It wasn't that big, but yeah. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode. Until next time, keep watching movies, especially not.
Yeah, not really. Gun.
It's Gun.
Movie, what is it called? It's called Gun.
It lives up to the title, Kyle. It fucking lives up to the title.